Morning, everyone. How you guys doing? Waiting for my guy, Lance. It's a flip-flop market these days, huh? We had an unbelievable start to the year, and then February sucked, and now we're kind of just like treading water here, aren't we? We're kind of just like in no man's land, going back and forth. But that's a market too. Sometimes the market isn't decisive. Sometimes just have to we just have we got to make sure that we have an appropriate strategy for what's going on. Can't force the market to be bullish, can't force it to be bearish. It is what it is. So I don't know where my guy is. Maybe he's chasing like pigs or cows around Bayshore Drive in Tampa. I don't know what he's doing, but it's a little late. I'm not sure he knew we had a Friday one. It wasn't super clear cut, but I'm prepared to talk markets either way. So hopefully the pirate shows up and we make our sweet music. There he is. There he is. All right. I thought I was gonna have to go solo. I thought I was gonna have to do a piano solo here.
Yo.
Good morning. I thought I was gonna have to do a drum solo here for half an hour, but thankfully I don't. It's good to hear.
I got all this damn pollen because all the trees over here. So I was raking the leaves and I was blowing the leaves. And then I was like, man, I got to shower and do all that. I can't have all that pollen and, stuff all over me. So
I said you were probably chasing cows down Bayshore at this point. I didn't know what was going on.
Dude, I'm like probably 20, 30 minutes from Bayshore. South Tampa's on New York now, but and it stinks over there because it's the water runoff. But I have been chasing the cows literally with like a big syringe, full of steroids. I'm like, man, I want to get on steroids now. I get the syringe, like the vial. I might even have a needle.
You're gonna do a cycle. You're gonna do a cycle with Bessie.
Dude, I want to. So I get the vial, I get the big syringe, and then I run like this and chase the cow. If it's laying down, and then I dart it right in the ass, and then the cow gets up and starts being mean to the other cow, and I'm like, man, I want steroids. I want the juice.
I wish we had a video of that. I wish we had a visual of that, a video, a replay. That sounds like amazing entertainment to me.
Me chasing the big cow with the needle. I will say though, the cow gets up, it eats, it's me with the other cow. All these baseball players and football players taking juice, I don't blame them. If I was hurt or, wanted to be a little better, hey.
Dale says this is a dark start to the call. I don't know what's dark about it. It's awesome. He's chasing cows around. He's going to do some steroids. The market's kind of shit. The market's kind of shit. So like, what else are you going to do? You got to find different ways to amuse yourself, right?
Dude, yesterday was the first day. And I've been, getting crushed the past 2 weeks. But yesterday was the first day that we actually got a nice bid and we actually got a rally and actually had a real nice day.
It was different. And it came off of nothing.
Well, the Fed, they said one of the Fed yippies said they might pause rates and some bullshit. Obviously just hype, but
that was a hype story. That wasn't like official Fed speak. Markets chasing, right? Markets grasping on straws for anything to stop like the annoying factor, right?
Yeah.
People want to buy stocks, but they're sick of rates going higher, is the bottom line, isn't it? I mean, they're sick of it. And the economy's kind of like in a weird place. Like people have money, but people still feel pretty cheap. I think like people are like the consumer's starting to crack. That's something that I was teasing that we would talk about. Doesn't it feel like this consumer's kind of just like on the fence a little bit here?
You're not having the people just buying a lot of shit just to buy anymore. All the PPP money, all the crypto money, all that stuff is gone.
Right.
Obviously. And now the people aren't like, here's a good gauge of the consumer. For a Rolex Pepsi, there was 18,000 people on the list at Mayors, at International Mall, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
18,000 people on the list for one. The past couple of years, you can't get a Rolex, right? You had to be on a list, wait, or buy like some Omegas or other stuff. A couple weeks ago, I told you. Yeah. A couple weeks ago, I told you that they called me for a Rolex. And I was like, wow, I was shocked. Basically, a lot of people are backing out. Let's say that 20 or 30 or $40,000 watch came in that you put in a year or two ago when you thought you had money and your 401k was sitting high.
Right.
Now the same people are like, hey, I can't spend 20, 30 G's on a watch.
Right.
They're cracking down on their spending. It's the same with the luxury car, the car market. Obviously the housing market, although I think there was a report that houses increased in value last month or something. But people aren't just going out buying boats, cars like they are.
So you asked me the other day, right? You asked me the other day, what would you short here? And I was like, these shitty EV stocks are still going to zero. Like, look at Rivian this week. Rivian was like the best trade of the week on the short side. That's not a lot. Like, they're doing zero business, right?
I think we said Lucid, the car's 150 grand. They said demand right up. No one has 150 G's to drop on a new spec.
And they have a mega market cap still too. It's not like they're a penny stock at this point. They still have a right?
Yeah, they're probably like so many billion-dollar company with barely any sales, and all that stuff, all that speculative stuff that all the newsletters and all the people sold you guys and said this crypto's the best, this EV's going to a gazillion, this clean power BS, all that shit is done. And that's just,
But don't you kind of get nervous with fads, right? Like, so I'm seeing this, like, let's talk AI for a minute. So like in our industry, let's just be like frank about this. Our industry loves chasing the like shiny new toy and the latest and the greatest and talking to like the market about it and saying, we have the best AI analysts on the planet. AI is our thing. AI number one, right? Like that's just what this business does that you and I are in, right?
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it like getting nervous because every time I've seen that shit happen, it marks like pretty much like a top of like a sector, a stock, an industry. Whenever our industry goes all in, it's usually like 6-7 months, maybe a year after like the move happened in the investment. It's kind of like the Kramer effect. So I'm looking at this AI stuff and I'm getting a little bit like nervous because like, people are the horse got ahead of the cart, whatever the hell that saying is, I think, with AI personally. So far.
Can you pull up AI? They actually just had earnings.
Let's go.
And this is I made a video on these stocks a few weeks ago, and then shortly after they, topped out.
Yeah.
And it was the same with NVIDIA. NVIDIA said, remember NVIDIA move on earnings, everyone? Well, they said AI 75 times on their call.
They did.
That's why the stock caught a bid.
Yeah.
If you pull up AI, they just reported.
I got it right now. Look at the stock.
Pull it up pre-market if you can.
Okay, yeah, I can for sure.
Pre-market.
I just want to see the daily chart real fast. Look at this stock.
But yeah, you see. It looks like Rivian. It looks like Coin. It looks like all the hype names, right?
Right, but it's like these stocks invariably come back to where they should be at. So like this stock's at 20. It should be somewhere probably around like 15 or something like that. But yeah, we could look at it pre-market.
Look at it pre-market. I was up like 15% earlier when I looked.
Yeah, 25.
Where's it at now?
Yeah, it's up 15.8%.
Yeah. I mean, the options were probably implying a massive. What were the options implying?
So we're looking at 0-day options. We're implying 20. Yeah, I mean, they're right there right now.
So the market makers were pricing this move in, basically.
Yeah, that's the fucked up. I mean, I don't mean
that. Well, that is. No,
registers.
No, you're right. That's
you make no money on it. You make no money. You made no money.
Stock was up 16%, and your calls don't move because the market makers expected.
But that's also an example of like pure hype, right? Like when the hype train is so hardcore, it's like so impossible to extract that stuff, almost, right?
Oh, exactly. I mean,
which is why this market is so aggravating right now. Because if we look, let's go back down to like macro land. and let's look at the S&P, right? So just put it in. Let's frame it from like a year to date perspective, right? The S&P 500.
Okay.
So if we look at the S&P, we started out, we opened, let's look at the first trading day. We opened on the 3rd of January at 3,853. Okay. We traded all the way up to 4,200, give or take up 10% on the year. And now we're back down here at 39.81. So yeah, I mean, we've given back almost the entire move.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
This is a place we should bounce because of the, all the moving averages converging here. And it's kind of like this consolidation range here. But I think what's so aggravating for so many people, myself included, with the systems I have that are like trend following systems,
There's no
is
trend.
there's no trend.
There's
Like
no
this
trend.
was an amazing start, but this is the exact opposite of what you want to see if you're longer term bullish on this year. So
Yeah.
what I have to recalibrate my entire mentality to say, we're going to get a lot of this. We're going to get up to here, then back down to here, then up to here. Like that's what this year is going to be. At least the first part of it, it feels like.
What I've been doing in all my videos, I'll pull up a daily chart.
Yeah.
And I'll say, you can't make money in this range we have. You want to buy puts, you got to buy puts on the top and then close them out the next morning if you get a gap down, which is very difficult when you're actually really trading, hypothetically.
So what's really hard is options implied volatility lags a little bit, right? So it's kind of like we should be having, and look at these daily range bars since we did this move down here. They're minuscule. Like they're really small moves, but everything's priced still on big moves. So what if we're in this range for the next like month, 30 days, where we're dealing with like 0.5% move up or down in the S&P every day? Now what?
If you pull up the VIX, look at the VIX move.
VIX, what a broken index this is.
I know. All the VIX products are.
Yeah.
But if you pull up the VIX,
yeah,
you're getting the VIX going down, right?
We are. We can't catch a bid, but you can't catch a bid in the market, which is crazy. A sustained bid, right?
You can't hedge with the VIX. I mean, that's obviously
but if you told me that the VIX would be sub 20, I would expect the S&P
to be
to be up.
I
would expect the S&P to be up 10% on the year. If you told me the VIX was back up after the year we had last year.
Well, what's happening is, let's say you get that 1% move in NVIDIA, right?
Yeah.
Or 2% move in NVIDIA, or Tesla. You get a 2% upside move and you bought calls. The volatility is going down. So when stocks go up, historically volatility comes out. Okay. And when stocks go down, especially quickly, volatility goes up.
I'll show it to you right now. Let's look at that.
Yeah.
So we got the S&P here, and then let's add the VIX as a comparative chart. And let's go back in time.
So what makes it difficult when you are right on the move, let's say you bought calls and the stock goes up, well, volatility is coming out the options, right? So the options are decreasing in value.
Right.
So that makes from trading, you'd be like, oh yeah, I bought calls in the stock, it's up 2%, but my calls are down or not moving.
Yeah, because a big part of the call premium was the volatility that is crushed, that is collapsing, right? But we're having a spread between implied vol and realized vol, which is a big problem, and that's a little bit of a more complicated discussion. That's what I'm hinting at. Implied vol in the options market is still kind of high on a single stock basis, but realized vol in the market is very low. It is where the VIX is at. And so how do you close that gap? I don't know. I think the answer to everything I'm saying right now, and I hate to sound like this because I love to go I like to shove and go all in. The answer is you got to just understand that this is kind of a shitty tape right now and scale back your enterprise is the answer, in my opinion.
Yeah. And it sounds like we're what do they call it? Big we'll say small dick energy, but you have to be I don't want to call it.
I didn't think you were gonna say that, but Okay,
you,
I'll co-sign it for you.
it's a big ego thing, obviously. But
Right.
right now, nothing trending, and you're like, man, the market sucks. My account keeps dwindling down. I get it. Obviously, it's been rough. But at the same time, like, I was trading fucking 400 lots at one point. Now I'm trading like, I got American Airlines. I had a 50 lot. Now I got a 30 lot. I got some options where I'm trading like 5 lots or 2 lots because I just don't want to risk a lot of money. Like
No,
I want
no.
to put all in, not all in, like the whole account, but I want to trade where I get some blood, boiling. But you can't right now. Like, especially if you're doing short-term options, you really got to trade super small. So yeah,
Super
you could
small.
participate in the market and still obviously try to pick some plays, but don't go big because
Well,
look
how do
look
you
what
explain that to people when it's like everybody's, everybody's at the party to get drunk, right, dude? Like people, how do you explain to people that the real party is until the after party? So you just got to chill and survive. You can't like blow your load in the first hour and have your buddies like carrying you out of the place at 9:30. Like the real fun starts at 1 a.m. You know, so how do you explain to people that we might have a chop shop for the next couple of months, but then you're going to get, in my opinion, a massive move. It's up or down in the second half of 2023. That's hard.
it's hard. And, it's to be honest, it's probably why we don't come out with new systems.
Well, we get a lot of pressure too. There's a lot of hacks, right? There's a lot of hacks in what we do, Lance, that don't give a shit, right? And they'll just be like, here it
Here's
is. Like,
yeah,
go all in. It's never been
yeah,
better. I've been trading for a long time, and so have you. And it's like you want to believe with integrity and confidence and conviction. This is all in. This is not all in. So I brought up this 2-year yield, and this is the big problem for growth stocks, because rich people love risk-free interest.
yeah.
If you've got $5 million in the bank and you can make 5% on that money free and clear, you're paying for your Range Rover, you're paying
Hey,
for little Timmy's school,
hey.
all kinds of shit gets paid for with 5% risk free, right?
And can you blame them?
And rich people rule the market, right? Like that's what this is.
Right. Yeah. Do you think those people want to go out and buy some speculative EV or AI stock right
Well,
now?
they did 3 years ago because there was no choice.
And they worked,
And
right?
it worked, yeah.
And you sold, but now you got $1 million. You're making 50 G's a year just off interest.
Hmm.
Just getting in that money market account,
Yeah,
5%.
that's what I'm saying.
That's a hard thing to say. Hey, I'm going to go buy Apple stock and
So
hope.
cash has been trash, right? Uh, Cash has been trash. But if we look at the dollar here, cash ain't going to be trash for too much longer. Dollar's starting to make a nice bullish move here. So someone's asking me about RS. So I had a trade not go so well in the burn notice. And typically these setups, work. Like what Lance and I do is we do our best bet, our highest percentage setup. And it was an index rebalance. So let me show you RS. Look at this stuff.
What is RS?
It's a steel company. And so they were the largest
Oh, oh,
addition.
oh, oh, oh,
They were the
oh.
look at this chart. So they were the largest addition I got to show you the volume. They were the largest addition to the MSCI World Index. Look at this volume bar here. Okay, so the way my system works is typically when you get added, a whole bunch of people panic to have to buy this stock, or when it gets deleted, they sell this stock. There's another rebalance in the S&P coming up mid-month, so it's a very high percentage short-term trade to take the other side of this. Because people are overpaying, they have to get it done. So on average, this thing trades 500,000 shares a day, and it traded 4 million on February 20th, which was the day it was getting a day. So 10x on the volume, right? But we got caught, my subscribers and we got caught in it because China, the night that the thing went through, came out and announced they were having a special session of Congress, where they're going to up and China's the wild card and everything, right? They're the wild card. They were going to up their GDP forecast, and they forced the issue. And they're the world's largest consumer of metals, of commodities, of like hard economic commodities like steel, iron ore, copper. It's China. And so that came out. So people are asking me about RS. And I'm like, well, the trade was to take advantage of the other side of this volume to fade that. Now they're doing this thing. To answer the question, this is super stretched. I think you get maybe another pop over the weekend with their thing, but probably triple down on Monday if it's up, because that's the end of that move. So that's the answer, RS. I just wanted to do that here.
I saw all those damn steel names squeezing the other day. I was wondering, well, obviously, so China, by the way, the steel in China, that's like the cheap shit steel, by the way, just a heads up. But they are, I don't know if they are the biggest steel, but I'm sure they are, because they are China. You can't fuck with China though. You really can't. You can't. And I don't want them to cancel. I mean this in the nicest way. But China has the China ADRs, you wake up overnight with news in China. That's just one thing that is very, very difficult to deal with. Is it's very difficult. You know, I've gotten burned so many times in names like JD, IQ, Neo, all these damn China names. And I've made a shitload of money.
Yeah.
On stuff like Momo, the online Tinder Match.com of China.
Yeah.
It's just they're crazy how they move and their influence on stocks. So
well, look at this Baba, right? Now this guy was like
a big gap up and
Jeff
faded.
Bezos. Yeah, exactly. And like this, but this stock was all the way down to 60, and then they changed their whole policy. But if you go back in time, look at this stock, dude. This was like north of 300. This was one of the largest companies in the world at one point. And now, and they should be for the amount of transactions they do. So they're like trading at a 13 PE, and they're basically Amazon on steroids in China, and they're only trading at a 237 only. It should be $1 trillion company. You hear that?
Remember, who was it? Someone in Buffett's team was buying this thing at like, God, what was it? What was he buying it at? Something crazy back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, some of Buffett's people, and they got burned their ass off too.
You can't trust China long term, dude. And they're not our friends. And they're not our friends. And we need, like, in the short term, you can trade it for sure. But from an investment standpoint, if you think the US-China relations are going to get any better, I got news for you. It's not going to get any better. And it's not because we don't want it to get better. They don't want it to get better. And they've done a lot of shit to fuck with us. And they've done a lot of things to rattle the system, the international system. And they're only going to get more and more aggressive about it. Taiwan is definitely, like, look at Taiwan Semi. This is a stock that Warren Buffett used to own, and he sold the whole thing. Why do you think Mr. Buffett sold his entire position in the stock?
Well, you know, you hear, when did he get out of it? It was like the shortest
quarter. Yeah, last quarter he kicked the whole thing.
Oh wow! So he got a massive haircut. Apparently, you know, he's a long-term investor, but apparently that was like the shortest holding of a stock.
Well, that's the point that I'm making, is like, you can trade it, but to, like, you know, this guy's looking at stuff for like 10, 15, 20 years, right? Like, how can you know, you got to think about these things. So
you can't.
So let's look ahead a little bit, because, you know, this was a week that was whatever. I think the market might be really bullish today. Like tech. I think tech is going to be bid like crazy today. I expect like a really strong day.
I was going to ask you, what do you think of today? Because the futures are slightly, when I mean slightly, I'm being very conservative.
I'm a degenerate. I love this TQQ. I trade this thing like water. This is my hedging thing, and this is the thing I trade just because there's so much volume and you get chunky action. Huh?
The leverage
ETF is a beautiful thing to trade. This thing is always mispriced. It's always mispriced. But I should come out with just a TQQ day trading product. That would be fun. That would be for the diehard junkies, though, right?
It's so hard to send day trade alerts, though, because it takes the team to send out.
That's the main problem. That would be a trade room thing to do, though. But look at this bad boy. This thing started February near $28 at $22.50.
The damn leveraged ETFs. I will say, you can only. You can only. leverage ETFs. You got to be careful. But I think the market, I actually think the market moves higher. Hopefully we get a day 2 today. So a couple of names someone mentioned in the chat, Tesla. I saw Tesla pre-market. Just the volatility.
So Tesla's in a range, right? Tesla's really annoying because Tesla, up until this week, was the #1 stock in the S&P 500 in 2023. But that changed this week. And if we take a look at it, we had that massive move. It doubled, basically. It basically doubled this year, right? And then 200 became kind of a hard limit. Now we're like kicking back around between like 210 and 190. But I expected this to be kind of like a little bit of a sideways range. I don't know. What do you see?
No, I think you had a lot of people try to load up on shorts on Investor Day.
Yeah.
And look at the intraday move yesterday. Right off the open, they bought it up.
That's true.
From 185 to 190.
That's
true.
It gapped down yesterday. Mega volume came in. Like that's something we look at a lot too. On a 5-minute, if you look at 5-minute candles and you see like triple the volume in 5-minute candles in a direction, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
If you're doing short-term directional trading.
I think you get a gap fill or intraday gap fill.
Yeah, I can see that. That's not unreasonable for
the
sure.
Only we'll say if you're trading Tesla options, they're still very expensive. So you kind of got to trade at the money or in the money options.
This is an interesting stock. You're going to like this stock. This was a stock I had last month, and it kind of kicked us, but AMD.
But
Dan Loeb is getting involved in this stock right now, or he's involved in it.
Stock moves so quick that
look at this move. Look at this move. Look at this volume. I expect this to be a continuation trade for a few weeks.
I like AMD. I like Micron. Marvel came out. Stock's down about 8%. It's funny because the past few days in Marvel,
10% down here.
Yeah, they were buying puts the last like 3 or 4 days in Marvel.
Yeah,
the stock kept going up. So even though they bought all those puts, they're probably not going to get paid because they had to hold through like a 5% rally.
Well, it's only back down. It's only back down to like the move from yesterday's open.
I know, which is
that's
wild.
always strange. That's always creating strange options reality, right? When what I've been hearing a lot of is zero day options, like in like S&Ps and like rates as ruling the school is why we don't have like mega trends anymore. That's interesting that the volume is so massive in those things right now. Everybody's playing like coin flip. Let's play AC Doocy with the daily S&P range. It's unbelievable.
Hey,
is that a new product, Lance? Are you gonna trade S&P 0-day options?
Hell no. I used to trade a lot of the SPOOs, the E-minis.
Yeah, I did too.
Not anymore.
E-minis. I love the E-minis. So look at this. One thing I just want to leave us with over the weekend is next week, the 10th, is going to be the day that decides the real move of this month, I think. It's going to be this jobs numbers. Last time, it really rock and rolled. It rattled the market like crazy because it was still super strong. Remember, they were expecting what was it? The unemployment rate and average hourly earnings, and I don't know, man. I think that there's going to be a lot going on. This change in private payrolls last time, 440 came in like double what it was supposed to be. Big numbers. Job market's still strong, is what I'm trying to say. So we got to watch that next Friday. Just a preview.
What do you think of energy? Because robotics bit. I'm actually pretty bullish on energy.
I'm really bullish on energy.
Got some depth. Damn, it just took a dip. And then I got some remember Liberty Energy I gave you the other.
Yeah.
Those calls went from about $110 to 150 yesterday. So nice move there. And Liberty Energy. And then I actually really like energy here, and I'm not a big energy person. So a little
well. Even when oil's down, the stocks do okay. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, another AAL.
Right.
I gotta take a lot of profits. I got a lot of stocks.
All right, I gotta bounce. I got another thing I gotta do. But thank you guys, everybody, for joining us today. We'll be Monday. We'll be ready to go on Monday. Peace out.
Yes, sir.
Have a great weekend, y'all. Good luck with the livestock.
Oh yeah. I don't know what